win the FA Cup, and a place in the quarter-finals is the prize for the winners. Leicester haven't been to the last 8 since they won it 3 years ago. Bournemouth have only ever been beyond this stage 3 times in their history. Wide right in the box, back onto his left foot. Pauses, rolls it back to Fatawu. Fatawu will shoot brilliantly. What a goal into the top corner! It's absolutely exceptional. Another glorious moment from Abdul Fatawu, and in extra time, it has Leicester on course for the quarter-finals. That was unstoppable. 1-0.
Yes, what a goal that was from Abdul Fatawu as Leicester City are through to the quarter-finals of the FA Cup. Welcome along to Matchday Live here on Fox's Hub with me, Dan Bates. We've got Steve Howard and Jerry Taggart in the studio alongside me. Before we speak to these two former cult heroes and legends, still a cult hero, still legends, both of you, Jerry. Don't worry, I won't say any more about you. Keep going with it. Let's get straight into today's team news. It's easier really to compare Leicester's team to the last time they played in the league. Of course, that was against Leeds last Friday. Enzo Maresca makes 2 changes to that side as Dennis Pratt and Ben Nelson come in for Ricardo and Yannick Vestergaard, who starts his 2-game league suspension today. This is the 11 then. It's Hermansen in goal, Justin, Fass, Nelson and Chowdhury, Winks, Dewsbury Hall and Pratt in midfield, with Mavididi and Fatawu in behind Pats and Daka. On the bench, Stolarczyk, Cody, Doyle, Vardy, Albrighton, Sutar, Cannon, Eunice and Marçal. No Ricardo Pereira at all in the squad. From a QPR point of view, they picked up a vital 3 points last weekend against Rotherham to move them out of the bottom 3. Marti Cifuentes makes 3 changes to that side, notably Lyndon Dykes coming in and starting up top for them. This is their 11. It's Begovic, Parle, Clark, Slater, Cook and Dunn. Hayden and Field in midfield with Elias Chair, Willock and Anderson, and behind that man, Lyndon Dykes. Well, that's both of today's teams sorted. We've got, as we've said, Jerry Taggart and Steve Howard, a man who scored a goal against QPR. We'll maybe see that a little bit later on Matchday Live. A goal you have no recollection
of.
No,
I haven't actually, to be honest. We were just talking about that before, but no, apparently it was a 4-0 win. So I'm sure when it pops up, I'll remember.
You'll remember it.
That would be a good conversation then, wouldn't it? With Steve and Tony Cotty, who remembers every goal he's ever scored, and Steve not remembering any of his goals.
I remember 1 or 2. But, so.
You must remember all of yours.
Well, there was not many, so it's not that
I didn't
hard.
say it. Yeah, more from these two in just a moment. There is an earlier kickoff as well in the Championship, which Leicester will be keeping an eye on. Leeds United have just equalised away at Huddersfield. There's about 20 minutes left in that one. We'll keep you up to date with that throughout Matchday Live, as well as getting through a lot of content, a lot of talking points, of course, today, starting by looking back at that FA Cup victory down on the South Coast in the week. What a goal it was as well from Abdul Fatawu. We'll hear from Enzo Maresca, of course, speaking ahead of the game with QPR this afternoon, and we'll obviously take a closer look at today's opponents, who are on a very good run at the moment. You'll be surprised, obviously, with them being near the bottom of the table, only 1 defeat in their last 7 league games. So really, when you look at that, this will be far from easy. That maybe if you just looked at the table, you'd think comfortable home win. It won't be the case.
No, not at all. I think, it's all about form for teams. You look at the league table, obviously QPR in 21st on goal difference, just out of the relegation zone. But the form in recent games has been really good. And they'll come here and they'll try and frustrate the life out of Leicester today. They'll sit back, defend deep, and make it difficult and try and hit Leicester on the counter-attack. It won't be like the game we seen a week ago on Friday, where both teams were going toe-to-toe. Leicester, it'll be a different game. The game will not open up as much for Leicester. They're going to have to be very, very clever with the way they approach this one.
I think you're right there, Joe, because even you look at the table and you think, well, they're near the bottom, they've just got out the relegation zone. But I think the form QPR have had over the last 4 or 5 games since the new manager came in, it's a bit false because everybody around them is winning as well. So so the league position is a little bit false. You know, if fixtures if results had went for them, I think they would have been a lot higher. So it's definitely a tough day for Leicester.
Yeah, I think Enzo Maresca said himself in the press conference, looking at the form since the manager came in, they'd be upwards of, it's certainly in the top half of the table.
No, absolutely. Well, it sounds like, or it seems like, when you look at the results in recent times, and when they have lost, it's only by the odd goal. So that tells me that they're well organised, they've got a good structure, they don't concede easily, and if you are going to score, you're going to have to work for it. So that sort of gives you an idea of how the game is going to go today.
Yeah, and they'll know they will have to break them down as they've got Lyndon Dykes up front, someone they know that they can go long to him, can't they? So they might sit him. We've seen a lot of teams do that at King Power Stadium.
I think it's a sort of place, you know. I've said it many times, Leicester's the best team in the league. And I think people will come, especially coming here, I think they'll come here and sit and try and get on the counter-attack. But I think Leicester's more than capable of getting a win today. Obviously, with the Leeds game on Friday, it was a great bounce back for the Bournemouth, and then obviously take the momentum into today.
Yeah, they will have momentum from that, won't they?
Oh, it'll be a real, you know, confidence boost. Losing 2 on the bounce, you know, at home to Middlesbrough, away to Leeds, and then going to a Premier League side, making all them changes as well. Was it 9 changes? I think it was on Tuesday night. Coming out on top with a fantastic goal for Fatawu, who was excellent on the night. So they have to go into this game full of confidence and ready for, you know, the first game of the rest of the season literally starts today, and that comes after that FA Cup win. Everybody knows what's at stake. Everybody knows the pressure is now on. There's no getting away from that. That's the nature of football. And so they have to be prepared for a battle royale, shall we call it, between now and the end of the season. Every game is massive. It doesn't matter who you're playing, what league position they're in. Every game is huge.
And I mean, you've both obviously played in this division, scored goals in this division, and know how difficult it is. But if you get momentum going, definitely that can really be.
It's funny how the fixtures fell, because I think the last time they got beat twice on the bounce was Middlesbrough and Leeds, and then they obviously went on a run, and then they've just done that again. So you know, like Jerry says, it is the business end of the season, and I fully expect them to go on Leicester to go on a little bit of a run now and close the season now.
And the season now is congested into March and April. There's only one game in May, which is a rarity in the modern day.
Absolutely.
So you've got 2 months, and there's an international break coming at the end of the month, towards the end of the month, should I say, in March. So, and all these games are literally congested into 2 months of football. Saturday, Tuesday, all the best. Get ready, strap yourselves in. Yeah. It's a mammoth task. And Enzo needs every player now, really. You know, the quicker he gets people off the injury bench, the better, because Leicester will need everybody.
One league game in May. There could also be an FA Cup final potentially in May, because Leicester City are through to the last 8 of the competition for the first time actually since they won it 3 years ago, thanks to an extra time winner against Bournemouth in the week.
Senesi, and that is a very good looking ball towards Sinisterra. Sinisterra cuts it back towards Enes Unal, and his shot is cleared by Hamza Chowdhury. He might have been back on the goal line there, Chowdhury. I don't know whether that might have been creeping wide, but he couldn't take any risk. Brighton puts his left arm up and now swings it in, and the header is goal. It's well saved. It was Tom Cannon who made excellent connection. And they've won the ball here. All Brighton can fly towards the edge of the box. Mark Albrighton shoots. It's hit the post. And it's come back to Yunus. How unlucky for Mark Albrighton. Wanya Marcel will shoot. That's a brilliant hit. Travers dives. It was heading for the top corner to tip it away. Leicester City twice in the space of 10 seconds there. So unfortunate not to be one up. That was an outrageous pass to find Tavernier, and he's released Kekes. Kekes shoots. Great save, Stilacic. He might have been caught out by that. Other goalkeepers would have been, but instead he flung to his right hand side to beat it away. Here's Iheanacho in space, feeds it back to Ricardo. Ricardo dances through and shoots wide. Another chance, this time for Ricardo. He believes it should be a corner. Kelechi Iheanacho wide right in the box, back onto his left foot. Pauses, rolls it back to Fatawu. Fatawu will shoot brilliantly. What a goal into the top corner. It's absolutely exceptional. Another glorious moment from Abdul Fatawu. And in extra time, it has Leicester on course for the quarter-finals. That was unstoppable. 1-0. Here comes Yannick Vestergaard out of defence, and he's continued his run. He's played it onto Iheanacho. Vestergaard wants it back. He's got it back. He's into the box on his left foot. Tries to dig the goalkeeper, and it's a corner. Great defending. He did beat the goalkeeper. I think it was the covering centre half. Leicester City into the last 8. What a performance. Enzo Maresca and his team have come to a Premier League side, and they've played their football.
Yes, what a brilliant victory that was at Bournemouth in the week in the FA Cup. Big smiles from Enzo Maresca and Abdul Fatawu, and rightly so, particularly for that second man there, because what a goal it was to win the cup tie.
Oh, it was a great goal, great strike, but it was just what Leicester needed, especially after that Leeds result. And obviously it's a different focus, because they now can focus on the FA Cup as well, which is, and it gives a chance, the lads who haven't played as much, a chance to get in and have a game.
He's threatened to do that, Jerry, hasn't he?
All season. So, I mean, he's just a breath of fresh air, isn't he? And we were speaking about him on Tuesday night. His work rate is phenomenal, with and without the ball. He's aggressive in the challenge. And we know about his ability going forward, and is almost nearly shot. I know he's already bagged a few goals this season, but he probably could have had double that if that shot had been on target a few more times. Where he's hit the bar and they've just fizzed wide, and our keepers have made really good saves. But I mean, he is just a total breath of fresh air. I just love his attitude.
And he's straight back in the starting 11 again this afternoon. Understandable. We were just talking when we were looking at the goals about the defence in particular. We can remind you of today's team news. No Ricardo in the team. No Vestergaard, of course. He's serving a suspension, so we can see Ben Nelson coming in at centre back. Jerry, probably the best person to ask on that. What are your thoughts?
Listen, again, I look at Ben Nelson and the attributes that he's got and the calmness he's got, and I think he's got a big future. But I have to say, I thought Conor Cody was immense on Tuesday night. So, and in a game like this where you're going to have to pit your wits against a team who aren't necessarily going to come out fighting, they're going to try and hit you with counter punches, then for me, I think you need a bit of experience at the back there, for that counter attack. And that's probably the only thing that Leicester lack for me, is I think Conor Cody can find himself a little bit unlucky that he's not starting today, because that experience is vital in a game like today.
No, he'd be gutted sitting on the bench if that was me. Conor Cody obviously had a great game on Tuesday, thinking, centre half's injured, right, I'm straight in, and he's on the bench. So it's one of them where I think Jerry's dead right. The experience he brings you, I'm surprised, but obviously it's fantastic that you can put somebody in like Nelson, who's an amazing talent.
Every time we've seen him, we've been impressed, haven't we, with Ben Nelson?
Absolutely. And I think, if he was in alongside Vestergaard, then it would be less of an issue for me, because he's an experienced player, but Faes still has this tendency to go wandering, and doesn't look at the defensive picture. Fantastic on the ball, Faes, great technical player, but you have to organise at the back when you're in possession of the ball. It's too late when you lose possession and you're stuck out at the right back position. You have to be aware of the dangers that may and ultimately do come your way, because not every attack ends up with a goal or a dead ball, so you've got time to get back and set yourself up. So that experience of knowing the game like that, I don't think Wout Faes necessarily has that in abundance. Where Wout gives you that extra dimension is is when he's on the ball. You know, he's a very, very good technician. But this is trying to avoid what happened the last home game against Middlesbrough, where we got literally hit by 2 sucker punches. And that's the thing you've got to try and avoid today.
I think it's one of them as well when Faz does his little mazy runs, and fair enough, you know, he's exciting at times, and if it opens up for his centre back to go in, run the space. But I just think Cody would have clocked that earlier than Nelson. Obviously being younger, he might be more experienced, he'd be able to cover Faz. So it'll be interesting to see today how that works.
Yeah, it's interesting as a former forward yourself. If you look at the team sheet and you see a young lad against a more experienced player in terms of fast, will Lyndon Dykes gravitate to Nelson?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, if that was me, I'd pull on Nelson without a doubt. You know, any balls coming up or anything, you know, any crosses, I'll pull on Nelson, the younger lad. Whereas you look at somebody like Connor Cody and you think, I'm not going to get much change out of him today. You know, because obviously he's experienced, but you think he might, you know, be a young lad, you know, in a physical game, frustrating game it might be, but you might have a chance, so I'd always pull on him.
So as your job as the centre half in this scenario, as Nelson, you make sure you win that first header, you win that second header, and you put off Steve Howard or Lyndon Dykes, whoever it might be.
Yeah, but sometimes it's not that easy when you come up against an experienced centre forward who knows the game, he knows how to, you know, work his way around in an experienced centre half. And so what Steve's saying, he would pull on Ben Nelson because of his inexperience. So he'd most likely use his body. And Lyndon Dykes is that sort of big, burly, strapping lad. As in the experienced centre-half, I'd be saying to Ben Nelson, when the ball goes wide, we swap positions and I go and take Lyndon Dykes. Has Fast got that in his locker to say those kind of, you know, to give that experience to Ben Nelson, say, okay, listen, Ben, he's causing you a few problems. When the ball goes wide now, we swap positions. I take Dykes, you pick up Cher, whoever else is in and around there.
Yeah, no goals in his last 7 appearances for QPR for Lyndon Dykes. Hopefully that continues and extends into today. Speaking of goals, we've got plenty of them on the sofa. Plenty as well from the man we're going to hear from next, because Muzzy Izzet is the next special guest of our podcast, Leicester's the Place. Here's a little snippet of what to expect from that, which comes out tomorrow.
If I had to start, drop, bench, Walshy, Matty or Jerry, I couldn't possibly do that. They're all in my team, so I'm going to have to duck that question. Oh, God. I suppose the one I connected to the most, because we came at the same time, would probably be Neil Lennon. He came a month before me, so we seem to connect well. I think playing at Wembley for the first time in the playoff final, like I said, upstairs to Matty and Jerry, and playing in front of one man and his dog 2 months before to play in front of 80,000 seemed quite surreal. I'm going to say my current favourite player at Leicester would be Jude. I think he's tenacious, he's a good footballer, he's got the right attitude, and I think he's been great so far this season. It's called Leicester's the Podcast. Leicester's the Place Podcast. The Place Podcast. Hi, I'm Muzzy Izzet, and I hope you can join me and my old pals Jerry Taggart and Matt Elliott on Leicester's the Place Podcast, where we talk about all things Leicester City and my career. Is that right?
Boom!
Was that a boom in the background I just heard from a certain Jerry Taggart? Yeah, that comes out tomorrow, that latest episode of Leicester's the Place. One of our previous guests, actually, Steve Howard, as well. If you've not listened to that or watched that, you can go back and find it. Really good listen. The Muzzy Izzet one, again, is absolutely brilliant. Fantastic hour and a half conversation.
Yeah, it was just like being in the pub, wasn't it? Only with no drinks.
Maybe that's something we need to add.
Yeah, well, there you go. I'm just putting a little sign bite out there for future. Let's get Stevie back. In fact, he likes the Guinness, Stevie, and I'm a bit partial to that myself. But yeah, you know, it wasn't really. It was just a really good chat with Muzzy. You know, obviously learned a few things we didn't know about him before his career started. You know, him growing up and coming from East London. His dad, why he was called Mustafa Kemal, is quite an interesting story. You know, and where his dad came from, he's a Turkish Cypriot, stuff like that there. So yeah, really interesting.
Yeah, one thing, even just from that little snippet of video we saw when he was in the box there was, speaking of Kiernan Dewsbury Hall and similar type players, I guess, they're both in the same position. Kiernan likes to get forward, affect games. We know he's got over 20 goal involvements this season. He's a key player in this Leicester side.
I mean, Dewsbury always had a fantastic season. He had a fantastic season last season. But I think I just love watching him. You know, that his forward runs, you know, just affect play. Even if he doesn't get the ball, he still affects the play. And Muzzy was the same type of guy, wasn't he?
Yeah.
You know, he used to run forward, and you used to see him running like you're thinking, oh, here we go. Yeah, exciting players, and it's great to watch players like that.
Games like today against teams that might sit back, there's a big onus on the likes of Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, isn't there, to affect it, maybe break the lines, create something special.
I think, you know, we've seen, again, I'll go back to Middlesbrough game. Obviously, it's not the first time it's ever happened that teams come to King Power and sit back unless they end up breaking them down. And so you have to say that, you know, the odds are good for Leicester in doing that. But sometimes when it's a little bit bitty, it's a little bit slow, you need a little bit of spontaneity. You need a little bit of a spark, something off the cuff, a moment of magic, let's call it. And Dewsbury Hall is one of those players, along with your Mavididis, your Fatawus, who can give you that, can create something from literally nothing and not necessarily sticking to the game plan that Enzo has. And that's what you want to see when a game that may well become a little bit tight and a little bit bitty and a little bit boring to watch because the opposition are sitting deep and making it difficult and Leicester can't find that pass. Then you need that little bit of spontaneity, and he is one of the key players that can provide that.
And you just look at his stats, 10 goals, 12 assists. Clearly, he's been doing that all season.
Oh, he's enjoying it. He's enjoying playing. I think he works really well with Winks because he knows Winks is just sitting there cleaning up. You know, Winks is pulling the strings, and Kiernan Dewsbury Hall is just having a wheel of a time. You know, he's thinking, right, if I need to get forward, I'm going to go forward, and it's great to see he's attacking runs, like you said, breaking the lines, causing havoc.
He's okay. I mean, Mavididi with 10 as well. You mentioned him. Fatawu, hopefully. Full of confidence from what happened at the weekend. Daka, we know he's got a lot of goals in him.
Yeah.
Leicester have got goals in the side. That's not a problem.
Absolutely. And it's not for the want of creating chances either. No, Leicester have created umpteen chances in the last 2 league games. And, you know, scored 2. And one of them was from a set piece against Leeds. You know, I don't know how many chances they missed against Middlesbrough. What was it, 20-odd shots they had on goal? And then the chances, obviously, there was 2 or 3 really good chances against Leeds that they failed to take. So it's just about polishing up on those big moments in games of football.
I think it's, you know, the creating chances. And I think the teams, if they're creating chances and not taking chances, you can sort of forgive that a little bit. It's when teams don't create your chances. That's when you got a problem. But Leicester's creating, you know, I mean, that Leeds game, when I was at the Leeds game, and, you know, it should have been 3-4, 4-0 if the chances they had. So, you know, it's one of them where they're creating a lot of chances.
I think, you know, when you're creating chances and the centre forwards or the people who are put through on goal, let's call it, aren't taking them, then that's an individual thing that you have to sort out in your own mind. So Stevie says he goes away as a centre forward and goes, do I need to spend a bit more time on the training pitch just honing my skill, or do I need to go into a darkened room for half an hour and have a word with myself? But when you're not creating chances, that's a collective thing. That's a group thing. That's down to the group. So you can sort it out easier when the team are creating chances and the guys who are in front of the goal aren't taking them.
Yeah, Leicester City still top scorers in the Championship. Quick update, it is still 1-1 Huddersfield against Leeds heading into the final minutes of that one. Right, we've got a special guest coming for you now as Jerry Taggart is going to make way. As we do that, let's hear from Enzo Maresca, who's been speaking ahead of this game with QPR.
They completely changed with the new manager. In the last 7 games, they won 4, they drew 2, they lost just 1. The way they playing, it's completely different. They are attacking team now. They try to keep the ball, and we need to pay attention in the way we press tomorrow for sure.
They're a side, as you say, in good form. They've also climbed out of the relegation zone. They feels like they might be a side coming pretty confident about the way that they're playing at the moment.
No, yeah. They are confident for sure, 100%. I saw them, I watched them, the games. As we said, in the last 7 games, they won 4, and they drew 2, and they lost just 1. That means 14 points in 7 games. Is the average 2 points per game. It's a promotion, no average. So they are. I'm completely surprised because they completely changed the way they play, and it's also nice to watch them.
You're coming back into championship action this weekend off the back of a great win against Bournemouth, and then just before that, back-to-back defeats. Does this feel like an important moment in the start of the end of the season for you now to come back to winning ways?
Yeah. No, but we said already many games ago that now we are in the final rush. And all the games, they are important. Every time you win a game, you see yourself close to the target. Every time you draw points, you see the teams in behind that they come close. It's part of the game, but we have to enjoy that. We have to enjoy the pressure, because it's much better to be where we are than mid-table and you play for nothing. So we are happy, and hopefully we can win tomorrow and continue our journey.
You were smiling there. Are you enjoying that pressure?
Yeah. As we said, sometimes when you draw points, you are a little bit upset, but it's part of the game, and hopefully soon we can be more relaxed.
Welcome back to Matchday Live here on Fox's Hub. That was Enzo Maresca. We've made an upgrade here in the studio, should we say. Jerry Taggart has gone out and Ricardo Pereira has come in. Before we say hello to you, we're going to embarrass you somewhat by taking a look at some of your best moments of what's been a brilliant season so far.
Bottom right corner. Leicester can break here, and through the centre goes Ricardo. One of the goals of the season. An exceptional, brilliant, majestic team move.
I think it's going to be a tough race for the Leicester City player of the season come May. Ricky, I think you'll certainly be one of the candidates for that. Welcome along to Matchday Live. It's great to have you here. Obviously not part of the Matchday squad today. I'm sure we'll get an update from Enzo Maresca at full time for that. But it's our gain in here, at least, that you've been able to come down and look back at what's been a brilliant season so far.
Yeah, for sure. It's been great until now. Still some to go. But yeah, I just think we need to keep the same, keep working, keep doing what we're doing, and should be okay.
If you catch either of our eyes looking down slightly just off camera, it's because Ricky's keeping a real close eye on the Leeds game at the moment. 3 minutes to go of additional time there. As players, we can joke, you do look at that, but obviously we know that the lads right now, they're concentrating fully on what's taking place in half an hour against QPR, of course.
Yeah, of course. Because we have to focus in our game first, and then think after the game, think in the others. Because if you don't do your job, doesn't mean much.
Yeah, and we've been talking obviously about QPR today and about the style of how the game might go. We've seen it probably a lot this season, haven't we?
It's just Ricardo picking up on there. But you get this stage of the season, the business end of the season, like we're saying, and you're literally just taking every game as they come. Like there's another win, and the whole goal is to get promoted. The sides I've been in, when you get promoted, you just literally take every game. You never look at you might have a glance at the league table and think, right, okay, but you take every game and just win every game.
Yeah, it's got to be the aim, obviously.
Yeah, of course, because towards the end, you don't have many time to go back if you lose some games, and if you do and you win, you look to the table and you say last game. Okay, we're in a good good momentum, a good run, closer, but you have to focus especially on you.
Obviously, the manager tells you that as well, does he?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
just
for sure.
every game, you know.
Especially like even in the beginning when we were winning, like don't think things for granted. Keep working, keep celebrating every win because don't get comfortable because things might change. And I think he's doing a good job talking about it. And I think as players, I don't feel like we are complacent or something, and that's important.
Probably a silly question, but do you enjoy seasons like this when you're winning games, when you're top of the league, or is there the pressure? You never know, it could be too much pressure. Yeah, but no, you enjoy it
at the top of the league.
Of course.
Yeah, of course I enjoy. If you win, the mood is completely different. And the celebrations with the fans, with the teammates, because you work to win. That is nothing better than winning in football.
Absolutely.
Favourite personal moment so far of the season? We've seen all of your goals and goal involvements as well.
Yeah, my favourite. I don't know.
Got to be Watford goals. Got to be up there.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, in terms of my goals, yes, maybe the most important, maybe.
Yeah, we were speaking about player of the season in terms of goal of the season, Steve. This has got to be right up there, hasn't it? Towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, I've done a lot of commentary over the last season, and you know, to watch you play, I think the effect you have on the team, you just make everybody tick. So you've been fantastic this season.
Thank you.
But where's your favourite position? Because you play right back, left back.
Good question.
I'm expecting to go front attacker today. You know, one of them.
I don't know. The other day, I don't know who asked me that. I think it's still right back.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. But I enjoyed playing in different positions, having new.
You obviously at ease playing different positions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like the challenge of doing different things and see if I'm capable to doing.
Brilliant.
And yeah, I think it's going okay.
I think you are capable of doing that. You see, obviously, an awful lot more of the ball. You're involved in the game. Pretty much every move goes through either you or Harry or both.
Yeah, for sure. Because that's one of the things I feel the difference. Because if you are on the side, you play maybe half of the time of the ball, but you're in the middle, almost especially in the way we play, we try to build in the middle to find spaces, and almost every play we touch the ball, like you said.
The man on the screen that you're smiling with at Bournemouth at full time, we're assuming he'll be doing the Ricardo role, if you like, this afternoon. We've seen him do it, and we know he's more than capable of doing that.
Yeah, for sure. I think the times he played, he's been good. I think for him, I don't know if it's an adaptation for me or for him in terms of position, because with the ball it's his position, like number 6, and without it's right back, so he's comfortable playing there, and I think he's doing great every time he played.
He seems like a calming influence, doesn't he?
Absolutely. Yeah, like Ricardo is, you know, and it must be great because you have to play with, especially like Harry Winks, you know, because he's pulling the strings. If he's not pulling the strings, you're pulling the strings. So for people like Kieran Dewsbury Hall, it must be amazing to have these two behind them, let Kieran go, play the balls out to the wide people. It must be a great team atmosphere.
Yeah, I think the game idea is clear, and I think that's important for everyone knows. I know what Kieran should do, he knows what I should do, so we all synchronize, and I think it's really important.
Sign of a good team as well, especially when the teams I've played in are the success of the teams. You know, if a certain player gets the ball, you know exactly what he's going to do, where he's going to be, and that's all about the collective, having a team.
Yeah, thinking the same. Yeah. For sure.
I guess when Enzo came in the summer, and probably the first ever training session or first meeting you might have had with him, he said, I don't see you as a right back anymore, or you might start there, but I want you in this inverted role. Were you excited by that? As you've said, you felt like it's been a challenge for you this season, but a good challenge.
Yeah. I think first training session, we did the possession, and I played inside, so I said, okay, something different.
Yeah. It's often the case, you know, like, you know, in the training, you get centre halves want to play centre forwards. You know, it's great for someone like Ricardo to go, you know, right back. I'll have shout in the middle of the park.
The full-time whistle has gone at Huddersfield. It did finish Huddersfield 1, Leeds 1, so that's 2 drop points for the team in second. I won't come to you and ask you, but I can see a nice smile on your face there. That does mean, though, Leicester can go 8 clear with a victory today. As a player yourself, I imagine now in the dressing room that news is filtering in, and that gives you even more motivation, even more confidence that you know today it could really be a vital 3 points.
Yeah, I think a little bit, but at the same time, if they had won, the pressure or the job we had to do would be the same. So just to think, okay, you already know that's one of the advantages of playing after. You know the result, and sometimes can be good, sometimes can be bad. But yeah, just having more information.
It's more for us in the media then, I guess, and for supporters.
Yeah. I mean, the lads will know that in the dressing room, and you know they'll have one eye out. But the job doesn't change. You know, so you have to win. Like we said before, it's every game. You just have to win every game. If they win, it doesn't matter what they do. If we win every game, we'll be all right.
Yeah, tactics-wise, it's exactly the same because Leeds could have won that game 5-0.
Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't affect what they're going to do this afternoon.
Yeah. What's been the messaging from Enzo this week? Is it? Do you look a lot? Obviously, they look a lot at the opposition, but do you concentrate on doing what you do as a group, week in, week out, regardless almost of the opposition? Yeah,
of course he adapts the training sessions or the meetings towards the opponent we're going to play. If they play with 5 or with 4, it will be different because he analyzes the other team and he says, okay, we need to do this or that. So it will be a little bit towards the opponent. But yeah, we focus mostly on us and what we do or what we need to improve.
And you'll obviously now, as you're sitting out and watching, you become a supporter like everybody else.
Yeah, for sure. And it's more stressful being on the outside, for sure.
It's horrendous. You'd rather be playing.
Yeah. Because you're there, you can do something, you are focused on the game, the concentration is there, but from the outside you cannot do nothing.
Right, we've been looking a lot at your goals, obviously, so far this season. We're going to embarrass Steve a little bit now because, speaking of goals, speaking of playing against QPR, what did we establish, 14 years ago?
Yeah, cheers.
Something like that.
Don't do that.
Steve Howard scored against QPR in a victory here at King Power Stadium.
Here's Morrison. Little chip and hope here, and Howard with a header. 4-0 now for Leicester. They are back to their best.
Do you remember it now?
I actually do remember that now, yes. But I was a bit gutted it was 14 years ago, though.
Yeah.
But that's what it was, yeah.
Yeah, still, it's only seems like yesterday.
Oh,
I guess.
Yes, great times. I had some fantastic memories playing here, so it was nice.
Yeah, we've obviously caught up with you before, and you've done the podcast as we know, speaking about your time here. But you always do look back very fondly, don't you?
Oh, absolutely, to this place, because it's like we have the same family environment that these guys have got. I think because when I've watched you play this season, it's very everybody celebrates. You know, if you score a goal, everybody celebrates.
Yeah. And I think a good thing you can see sometimes, for example, the goal against Watford, we were talking about it. You can see the footage and you can see Wingsy sliding and cheering like it was him scoring.
Yeah. I mean, even after the game, going over to the fans, it's not just the players, it's the whole staff going over. You know, so it's, and I've said this many times, it's great to be in an environment like that where it's on the pitch and off the pitch.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where you get your success. Yeah.
I think that's the thing that the Leicester's almost prided itself on being a good group. You've been here a number of years now, since 2018, wasn't it, that obviously you joined, and you feel like there is a togetherness, there is a real feel of unity at the club, whether that's from players to supporters or players to staff members, it's the same.
Yeah, I think it's from bottom to top of the club. I think you can feel that, and you can feel it's different to other places.
Yeah, but it's the characters as well in the dressing room. You know, you have all different characters, and sometimes you've been in when I've played, you've been in dressing rooms where, you know, he's a bit quiet. One lad's quiet, doesn't fit in or anything like that. But the lads seem really together and really enjoying the and when you enjoy something, you do it better.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think part of football is enjoying having fun, because when you started to play when you were young, it's to have fun, and if you have fun, it's better, like you said.
Totally.
As we've rightly said, it has been a fun season as well, of course. Let's get a quick reminder of team news just before we do that. As ever, the games are available for you on Fox's Hub. Depending where you are, you can watch the game. You can get a game pass, which is available. For all the information, just head to lcfc.com/Fox's Hub. You can also listen to the action as well if you are here in the UK and you've got your Listen Live monthly pass. Then you can tune in and hear all of the action. As you may have guessed, we've got Ricardo Pereira in the studio with us. He is not involved this afternoon. We can take a look, though, at today's team news. Enzo Maresca, looking back from the Leeds defeat just over a week ago, has made 2 changes to that team. Ricardo being one of those that's dropped out, as well as Yannick Vestergaard, who serves the first of his 2-game suspension. It's Hermanson in goal, Justin, Fass, Nelson and Chowdhury, Winks, Dewsbury Hall and Pratt, with Mavididi and Fatawu either side of Patson Daka. From a visiting QPR point of view, they make 3 changes to the side that beat Rotherham a week ago, which took them out of the bottom 3. They've got Begovic in goal, Powell, Clark, Salter, Cook and Dunn, Hayden and Field in midfield, with Chair, Willock and Anderson in behind Lyndon Dykes. One thing, I guess, when speaking about QPR and the team that we played, they've only lost 1 of the last 7 games in the league, and for a team near the bottom of the table, they're really fighting and clearly fighting well at the moment. So all the lads know this will not be an easy game, of course.
Yeah, I think every season towards the end, every game it's difficult because normally everyone is fighting for something, and you feel you're reaching the end of the season, so you don't have a lot of games. So every game, it's like for some teams like finals, like important games that can be to reach the title or to get out of the relegation. It's always tricky game.
And you'll know, of course, from playing in the division as well. And Saturday, Tuesday, we're seeing that now really coming into fruition. And there's a chance to get 6 points, hopefully, in the next few days. And that's the momentum we spoke about that word earlier.
I mean, that's what you need towards the end. You know, like I said, the business end of the season. You need that momentum. And you know, when you go Saturday, Tuesday, I don't know what Ricardo, but I used to like going Saturday, Tuesday. You know, because you get them in. You're still in the focus of getting them wins in. You know, which you need, like you said, that momentum to carry you to get promoted.
Yeah, because you play, you rest, and you play. You don't train.
I mean, it's like anything with the, when you train, you don't want to train. You want to play games. You want to win games. So,
especially if you're winning, it helps.
Yeah, exactly. Come back to that. It's funny how no matter what generation, sorry again, Steve, of footballer it is, it's always the same. You just want to play, don't you? You don't want to train. You want to win games, and you want to be playing week in, week out. And again, we know what's at stake now with the drop points earlier. A real opportunity. We don't want to hammer home the point, but it is an important one to make. That every game is important, even more so now.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, I think towards the end of the season, it's 12 games to go, so you don't have a lot of games left, so you need to pick up the points and to be all right.
Yeah, hopefully in what, just over 2 hours' time, we'll see another 3 points for the Foxes. Let's hear from one of Ricardo's teammates, Ben Nelson, in the starting 11 today. He's caught up with our commentator, John Dunn.
Ben, after securing an FA Cup quarter-final place, the team back into league action, but must be in really confident mood.
Yeah, definitely. I think obviously we picked ourselves up after a couple of bad results, but we're raring to go now in the league.
Queen's Park Rangers towards the bottom of the league, but they're in really good form at the minute. You'll be aware of the threat that they bring today.
Yeah, exactly. They've won a lot of games in their last kind of 7 games, and they've got a new manager. Obviously, they've got new ideas, so yeah, it's going to be a tough game.
Is it all about Leicester doing what they've done so well this season to win the game?
Exactly. We know our abilities. We know what we can do. So we just got to show that as much as we can, and we'll win the game.
For you personally, your first home league start for Leicester City must be a very proud moment.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, I've done it in the cup and I've come on in the league and stuff like that. But to do it at home is just another different experience.
Must be a real boost. The faith that the manager is putting into you over recent weeks and months where you've been involved with the first team.
Yeah, definitely. It just gives you so much confidence. Obviously, when the manager gives you that belief, that he believes what you can do and how you can play. So.
That was Ben Nelson there speaking to our commentator, John Dunn. What better person to ask than one of his teammates who plays alongside him, of course, Ricardo. What's Ben like? We're all big fans of him here. I think all Leicester fans realise that he looks like a really, really strong player.
Yeah. You can see that. I think the chances he had, he took advantage of that. He played well, and he deserves to be playing. And that's not by chance that the manager is picking him to play.
I don't get the sense that there'll be many nerves from him, but he'll go in and he'll just play his own game and he'll believe in his abilities. For someone who's only 19, that's quite impressive.
Yeah. To be honest, I was surprised when he played, and he was okay. I didn't feel he had the pressure. He was aggressive. He tried to play with the ball, with the ideas we have, and because the way we play, we take some risks from time to time playing from the back, and you need to have personality to try to do what the manager wants.
I think he'd be full of confidence, you know, because you've got Connor Cody sitting on the bench, you know, and Enzo, obviously, you know, he's got a lot of ability in him, so he's thought, you know what, we'll put Ben Nelson in and not play Connor Cody. So he's got to be full of confidence, thinking the manager's, you know, wants me to play, you know, wants me to do well. He's put it straight in.
Yeah, right. Final point from you both. Steve first, then Ricardo. We've laboured the point, I feel, a little bit, knowing how important the game is against a side towards the bottom of the table that will be fighting for absolutely everything. It might be a case of remaining patient, again, even for the first 45 minutes, whatever it might be.
I think it's going to be a case of, like, you know, teams coming here and trying to frustrate Leicester, you know, and then trying to hit them on the counter-attack. But like Ricardo's, he's dead right what he says. They're fighting for something. Leicester's fighting for something, so it'll be an interesting match.
Yeah, I think patience, stick with the game plan, because it happens in the past that first 45 are difficult, we don't find spaces, and then towards the end we stay patient, we stay having the ball, controlling the game, and sooner or later hopefully the chances will appear.
Yeah, hopefully so. We'll be sat here in a couple of hours speaking about another Leicester win. Thank you very much to Steve Howard. Thank you as ever to Ricardo for coming and joining us and enjoy the game as a supporter again.
I will.
This afternoon. We do, though, have to hand over to our commentary team, which consists of Matt Elliott and John Dunn. Don't forget, of course, a lot of games available for you on Fox's Hub. Here's a little video of explainer of what you can or can't watch today.
If you are watching on lcfc.com, just sit back and relax. If you are watching on social media, the live stream will finish shortly. If you want to continue enjoying our coverage, you'll need to head over to lcfc.com/Fox's Hub and purchase one of our game passes. If you are watching in a territory where the game isn't live on TV, you'll be able to watch a live video stream on Fox's Hub. Please visit lcfc.com/territories to check. If you can't find your location, live audio commentary is still available. You'll need to have an lcfc.com account before you purchase your Game Pass. If you already have one, please sign in and select your product at lcfc.com/Fox's Hub. Select the Buy button and you'll be taken to the payment page. Once you've followed the simple payment steps, press Continue at the bottom of the screen and you'll be taken to the Fox's Hub homepage. If you purchased a video pass, please select Watch Live from the Fox's Hub drop-down menu. If you purchased a Listen Live pass, please select Listen Live. If you purchased a seasonal or monthly video pass and the game is not being shown in your territory, please select Listen Live. If you are having a payment or technical issue, please email Leicester TV Support at streamamg.com. Thank you, and we hope you enjoy the match.